Hello and welcome to Professor Pincushion. In this tutorial, we're going to be going through the Kwik Sew lookbook. If you're a beginner and wanting to get into commercial patterns, then you want to check out this tutorial as we show you how to read and understand the lookbook. This book is a catalog of available patterns for a particular brand, in this case Kwik Sew, and can usually be found at retailers that sell patterns. Kwik Sew focuses on offering a large selection of baby, children, doll, and craft patterns. They also offer garment patterns for men and women, including a good selection of activewear and lingerie. Kwik Sew also offers the Ellie Mae design patterns. Now, when you look at it at the store, you're going to want to make sure that you're looking at the correct updated copy. So you're going to look right up here underneath the name Kwik Sew, and you'll see it has the season, in this case summer and spring, and then the year, so 2013. So I'm making sure that I'm looking at the most recent copy with the most updated patterns. You'll also see that most Kwik Sew patterns are all going to be the same price, which is nice, so there's no guesswork. And also everything you see, or pretty much everything you see, there's going to be a pattern available. So if, for example, I really like this dress that's on the front cover, you'll see down below they'll have the information on what pattern it is and on which page you can find more information about it. When you open up your Kwik Sew lookbook, you're going to see something that looks like this on the first page. So we have a couple of different images, and then you're going to see off here to the right, all the pattern types have been separated into categories, and each category has its own color. So it's all color coded, each category has its own unique color, and sometimes if they need to add a little bit more description to the category, they'll go ahead and add it underneath the heading here. Now the color coding is very important because it helps us to quickly locate that category without flipping through all the pages. Although that's fun too if you want to do that. But if, for example, you want to go straight to a category, let's say crafts, you can see it's purple. You can look at the edge of the pages, and here's purple right here. So then I can quickly go to that and go directly to crafts instead of just trying to flip around and find it. But you can also do that, and you'll see that the categories and the colors are right here on the edge of the pages. Now, if you want to go ahead and take a look at the most recent things added to their collection, those are going to be the pages that are in front of the first category here. So if I go ahead and flip through these front pages, it's going to be all the newest patterns they have to offer. Also, if I want to go ahead and do one of these new patterns, they're going to have the information on the pattern number and then also what page it can be found on. Patterns will come in envelopes, such as here's an example right here. Now, if you look through the catalog, what you're doing is you're trying to find what style of garment or craft you want to make, and then you're looking for the unique number that is associated with that envelope. Usually each page will be dedicated to one or two patterns, and you know that because you're looking at the individual number. So this number is for this pattern, which in turn goes to the pattern envelope. If we look at this one, you'll see it's a different number than this one over here. So this is its own pattern, which has its own envelope. If we look at this again, our pattern, you can see here we have a unique number because it's just for this particular pattern. The K stands for Kwik Sew, which makes it a little bit easier. Now this one's a little bit easier because there's one pattern per page, but sometimes they'll fit two. You can see here's one here with a number, and then we have another number on this page, and the same thing on this page over here. Now just because you're picking out one envelope doesn't mean that you won't get different styles in that same envelope. So for example, if we look at this one, you're getting one pattern, but you can do two different individual styles. So we have version B, which is a square neck, and then this is kind of hard to see, but we have an A over here, which we kind of have this back that comes to a point right here. So it kind of gives you a little bit more flexibility. So not always are you making one single thing, but sometimes you can do variations with the same envelope. So now we're going to just get a little bit closer so we can focus on this area and see what we need to get from it. You can actually get a lot of information from the product page of your pattern. So you can find out what type of fabric you need and how much and all that kind of stuff. So we're going to go ahead and break all this down. First, again, we have our pattern number, so this is unique to the envelope. And then remember how I told you that sometimes you can have different versions in one envelope. Well, for the pattern companies, they call these views. So here you can see view A and view B, and you can clearly see in these line drawings the difference in the neckline. So here we have the scoop neckline, and here we have the square neckline, but they both have similar skirts, so it's just a small variation. And they also show you the front and back of each view. So this is what B looks like in the front, and this is what it looks like in the back. Clearly the difference is that the neckline is a little bit higher in the back than it is in the front. Let's go ahead and focus on this box now. So the first one, let's just start at the top. It's going to tell us what it is. It's a Mrs. dress, and then underneath it's going to tell us the size that this pattern comes in. So for this particular one, it comes in sizes extra small through extra large. If, for example, you want this pattern in extra, extra small, you're not actually going to be able to purchase it. You're going to have to either purchase the extra small and do alterations or find a different pattern that'll work for you, because they only come in these specific sizes. Underneath that, we're going to look at the suggested fabric. So they're telling us that this dress was designed for these type of fabrics that they're suggesting. In this particular case, it's lightweight woven fabrics, and then they give some examples. So even if you pick a fabric that's not one of these 4 examples, but it's still a lightweight woven fabric, it'll probably still work fine. They're just offering some suggestions. But then if you come and you want to make this dress in, say, a knit fabric, it's not going to fit and work the way that you imagine, because it was not designed for knit fabric. It's only designed for the lightweight woven fabric. Next, we're going to go ahead and let's go ahead and look at this size. So again, they're showing you the sizes here, and everything that falls under this column is going to be related to the thing that's on top. So everything in this column relates to a size small. It's the same thing over here. So that's how they keep everything organized. The very first thing is going to be a finished measurement. So they're just telling you that when the dress is completed for both of them, you'll see view A and view B, when it's done, let's say for a size medium, if you were to measure the dress from the center back to the waist, it ends up being 24.5 inches. So inches is on top and centimeters is on the back. So it kind of gives you a general idea beforehand if you need to make alterations. And actually they show for all sizes, that is the length from the back of your neck down to your waist. So if you have a longer torso or a shorter torso than normal, you can go ahead and make the alterations you need. Also, what's nice is we already know straight away that this dress has a lining. So if you want a good quality dress with a lining, then this dress is for you, because you know there's a lining in it. And they're telling you not only how wide the lining needs to be when you purchase it at the fabric store, so 45 inches in width, but then they also break it down and tell you how many yards you're going to need of lining. So if I was doing view A dress and I'm doing a medium, I only need 1 yard. You can see yard is here on the top row, and down here we have meters. Underneath that, notions. So in addition to purchasing fabric and lining, what else do we need? Obviously, you're going to need some all-purpose thread. They're saying optional fusible interfacing if you want to stabilize the neckline. So if you needed zippers or buttons or anything, you're going to find it in this section here. So this is why this is very important. So you know what else you need to purchase on top of that. Over here, now they're telling you how much fabric you're going to need for this dress. They have it broken down. So you have 60 inches in width and 45 inches in width. So when you pick out your fabric, you're going to have to look at the little information tag on the fabric, and it's going to tell you how wide the fabric is. So from that, you can then decide if you're looking at the 60 inch or 45. Those are the 2 common ones. Sometimes they'll be a little bit different, but these are the 2 big ones. So if the fabric that I purchase is 60 inches in width and I'm doing dress A and a medium, I can go ahead and look here and see that I need 2 yards of fabric. And if I have 45-inch width fabric, then I would do the same thing down here. Here's another example I have my pattern number over here, so this is the unique number for this envelope, and you can see it's in the purple block, so this is for crafts. And sometimes when you're starting off, crafts are a little bit easier because you don't have to worry about sizing and fitting and all that. So for this one, we're doing cute animal backpacks, and you can see there are two views here, view A and view B, a monkey and a frog. The one thing I like about the Kwik Sew patterns is sometimes when you do crafts like this, they actually have them separated by color. So they're telling you for the main fabric here, which is this gray blue, it's going to be this part here, and then purple is the contrast, and the contrast 2 is going to be the yellow. So they really break it down and make it a lot easier. Once you decide which one you want to make, then you can just focus on that view when looking over here. Again, underneath we have the design for medium weight woven fabrics. So they're telling you that they created this in mind to be used with medium weight wovens, and they give you some examples here. So you want to make sure that you're not using a fabric that's too lightweight or it's going to be really flimsy. So it doesn't matter if you're using 42 or 58 inch width fabric, they're telling you how much you're going to need. So if I'm just doing view A, 7/8 of a yard, and it doesn't say which fabric it is, so I'm going to assume that that's going to be from my main fabric. Contrasting, which is the lining and the inner ears, so that's the purple, and we can't see the inside of the backpack, but we're just going to assume that it's going to be purple in there as well for the contrast 1, and you're going to need 3/4 of a yard. Contrast 2 is going to be 3/8 of a yard, and then they also ask for fleece for view A, which is 1/4 of a yard. So I just like to look through the whole thing to see if there's something else that's going to be related to my view, and there's not. And then underneath we also have notions, so this is additional items that we're going to also need in order to complete our project. I just want to point out a few things you're going to find in the back of the lookbook. So with this page, I'm just going to show you really quickly the different types of patterns they have in their pattern line. So not only do you have the main collection, which we have here, but you have patterns that are overlock friendly, you have ones that are quick and easy, you have ones that are good for if you're just learning to sew, and they actually have patterns that require no sewing at all. So if you look for patterns and let's say you see ones with a yellow cover, then that means it's going to be a good pattern for beginners. Also in the category of sizing and pattern info, you can find the stretch charts. So this is if you decide you want to make something that uses stretchy fabric. So the pattern says, for example, you need fabric with a 25% stretch across grain. These charts in the back of the catalog are going to help you. So they're giving you examples, but then they're also showing you how much it needs to stretch. If you take a piece of fabric that's 4 inches in length, which is from here to here, you can go ahead, hold right here, and then on this end, you should be able to stretch the fabric to this point. If you can do that, then it's going to be perfect for all patterns that require a 25% stretch. What a lot of beginners don't realize is that your retail sizing is never the same as your pattern sizing. Usually the pattern sizing is going to be a larger number, which is why it's important that you take your body measurements and then compare them to the measurement charts that are in these books. So that way you're sure to pick the correct size and all your garments that you make are going to fit correctly. What you can find in the back of the lookbook is something that shows you how to properly take your body measurements. So they're telling you what measurements are important to take in order to figure out your size. If you're really unsure, you can go ahead and check out our tutorial on how to take your measurements. Once you have your accurate body measurements, you can then look at the body measurement chart located in the back of the Kwik Sew lookbook. So they have them for Mrs., women's, men's, girls, boys, toddlers, and babies. Once you have all your body measurements, all you're going to do is, for whatever category you're going to be matching up with, you're just going to take your measurements, line them up in a column, and then that's going to determine your size. Once you have your size, you can then look through the Kwik Sew lookbook and find patterns that you'd like to sew. Make sure to check out our other videos and visit ProfessorPincushion.com to view our complete library with well over 150 sewing video tutorials. New tutorials are released regularly, so make sure to subscribe to be notified of the next release. Thanks for watching!